Well, we were like seconds away from committing to Alabama, and then Nick Saban left. And the next day, I called him, and so I had my top five schools were Alabama, Duke, UCF, NC State. Those are my four. And then he reached out to Deion, and then the coach called him. The opportunity came up for a PWO at Colorado, and I committed on that.
So it really came down to the wire with Coach Saban retiring.
Yes, sir.
Bill,
Yeah,
people might not.
we were already looking at property in Tuscaloosa.
So is it kind of bittersweet? Alabama is an amazing program as well, obviously.
Well, I mean, are you asking me or Gage?
Either
You'll have
one.
a
Yeah.
different answer. But I mean, let's be perfectly honest. I was lucky enough to play with Vince Dooley. There are few human beings on the planet that are worthy of a Vince Dooley characterization. As far as head coaches are concerned, you can't get much better than a Nick Saban and what he's done, but most importantly, what he stands for. And when we went up to his camp, they saw Gage perform. He offered him a PWO, and that was one of the coolest moments ever because you got literally the top of the echelon, rewarding you for your work. So there are so many factors that go into it. I've seen the videos of interviews with me throughout the years and talking about what's important. And at the end of the day, it's there's so many things to take into consideration, and these kids have to understand that the decision you make is pretty much dictating the next 4 years of your life, which literally dictates the rest of your life. So it's just a huge decision. It's not based on who's got the coolest uniforms. It's based on who's going to take care of you the most and where do you have the best opportunity, both on and off the field. So let's be perfectly honest. Deion and I are great friends. I love the man like he's my brother. I'd do anything for him. I say that when I was his teammate, and I say that now. I've watched him from afar. Obviously, Gage has been going through, thinking about potential schools for the last 4 years, ever since he put his first football helmet on. And I've seen what Deion did. I respect him exponentially now as a coach, but most importantly as a person. So I've followed very closely what he did at Jackson State and then moving over to Colorado. And everybody sees the hype and they think that Deion is this way, but I know him another way. And so as a father, again, you look at the best opportunities, you look at the place where he can be taken care of the most. And let's, again, be perfectly honest. My brothers own restaurants in Aspen, Denver, and in Vail. We have a large presence there. My brother's son was, I think in 2008, was a walk-on at Colorado and then earned a scholarship. So, we've got some good ties there. And guess what? The potential coaching staff or the existing coaching staff is unbelievable. I mean, you're going to be able to learn from guys who actually played, number one. And number two, the potential for the coaching staff to get even better. It's a wonderful situation. I'm ecstatic as a person, but most importantly, as a parent.
Gage, what has your father told you? I'm sure you've heard Deion Sanders stories over the years, having the chance to play football with, the greatest defensive back arguably in the history of the sport. Have you heard stories since you were a kid about Coach Prime?
Yes, sir. I've heard many stories. The one that comes to mind the most is like him saving his life, and him coming in the ring too. Like, I mean, I've heard them all.
Deion didn't come in the ring, but like one of the last games I played with Deion, he said it on Bleacher Reports, but he got hit out of bounds catching a punt, and I went from one end of the sidelines to the other end of the sidelines just to come and jump into the fray. I mean, you know me, but I love Deion to death, and I came to his aid then, and I would for the rest of my life. He's just a great dude, and I'm going to continue to sing his praises. But after I speak so highly of this person, why would I not want this person to be the head coach for my son? And by the way, they've done an unbelievable job in a short period of time at Colorado, and it's going to do nothing but get better. Whether it's the facilities, whether it's the performance on or off the field, he has taken that program and basically climbed Mount Everest in a very short period of time.
Gage, if people haven't seen you play or seen your highlights, give yourself a scouting report. What should the Colorado Buffalo faithful expect from Gage Goldberg?
I mean, see ball, hit ball, or no, see, yeah, whatever. And then I'm gonna go hit the ever living shit out of an O lineman. If they come at me, I'm gonna blow up the block. Like if someone's coming at me with the ball or coming to block me with the ball behind them, I'm gonna blow it up.
Sounds like me, doesn't it?
I was going to say it. How about the scouting report from the dad? It sounded like a spear.
Yeah, I mean, let's be perfectly honest. This kid ain't no 5-star. You know why? Because he's a dual sport athlete and he stopped baseball 2 days before the football season started. So, this is an example of a kid falling through the cracks. Someone asking my opinion, me having, some history as far as knowing who's got talent and who doesn't. And I'll be perfectly honest again, if this kid couldn't do it, I would never have picked up the phone. I mean, it's not a favor from somebody. I feel like I'm doing them a favor because I'm showing them an not uncharted talent, but an undiscovered talent. I mean, everybody knows he's my son, but like I said, he spent most of his life on the baseball field. I didn't let him play football until we moved here to Texas 4 years ago, and I didn't let him touch a weight. And he's gone crazy ever since. And when he gets some unbelievable coaching, which Colorado has, the sky is the limit for this kid. So I can't wait for him to show all the naysayers what's up.
Gage, your dad mentioned two sports. Is baseball out of the picture, or is there a potential to play baseball as well at Colorado?
Baseball's out of the picture. I'm focusing 100% on football.
How excited are you to move on, to move away from home, to do your own thing? I'm sure you've always had a target on your back because of your last name. Are you excited to go prove that you're Gage Goldberg? You're not just Bill's son.
Yes, sir. And I'm like, yeah, obviously, like you said, I've had the target on my back the whole time I've been playing football and even baseball. But like, especially in football, and it's not going to go away once I go to Colorado. And once I'm playing it, like it's gonna stay on my back, and I gotta prove him wrong, and like prove him like I'm here, like I'm not him.
And that's why I didn't let him play until he was old enough to cognitively understand that kids were going to come for him, and until he was prepared to take care of it, I wasn't going to let him play and subject him to that. Now he's his own guy, and I'm just ecstatic that he's going to get the opportunity to show what he can do. And this whole process, he's done it on his own. He has. I mean, everybody knows he's my son. Everybody knows what celebrities' sons and professional athletes' sons go through, or at least they think they do. But this kid is an individual. He's wanted to separate himself because he doesn't like me from the beginning, right? It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that he has his own identity and he wants to prove it on his own. And as a human being, I mean, you can't do nothing but respect that, because he hasn't leaned on me to do anything out of the ordinary from a normal kid in a recruiting process.
How about Gage being able to learn from Deion's kids? Because as your father saying this, they have went through the same thing and they're playing for their dad, but to them to live out their dreams out of their father's shadow. It seems like you could learn from Deion's sons as well.
Yes, sir, for sure. Like they went through the same exact thing I'm going through. They've been past it though. Like they've showed out and they've showed what they can do, and they've showed that they're not just a stereotype, and that they're not just a son, that they're their own selves, and they're proving that every step of the way, and they've just excelled.